Right then, so we're going to have a look at the front cover for the Sun newspaper. This is specifically for those of you who are sitting your exam in 2020. If you are just starting year 10 or you're sitting your exam in 2021, then you don't need to worry about this as your front page, and I will get round to annotating yours in the next few weeks. So let's get started and have a look at what this involves before breaking it down into our key concepts. So to start with then, the masthead is an iconic red colour, so this places it within the red top tabloid genre. We've also got the date of publication, which we can see along with other information in that masthead like the slogan, the price point, the website. But what's really important about this particular date is that it's International Migrants Day, so that makes what appears on this front cover to be quite ironic. Now the slogan or the tagline is very boastful, Britain's most popular paper, but it's also sort of truthful because the circulation figures show that the Sun is the biggest print newspaper within the UK. We also have an advert in the masthead as well, so this identifies the primary demographic as low income, who are perhaps C2 to E on the Acorn or ABC1 system. They're likely to be classed as strugglers on the 4C system, and it's interesting because, or sort of it matches what we would expect, because the paper is typically associated with men who are 25 to 40 who perhaps would be shopping in places like Aldi or would appreciate the £5 off vouchers. So this is also an example of synergy as well. Now the direct address, using the personal pronoun you, places the demographic at the heart of the story, and this is something that would draw the demographic to the paper. So just the same way as having somebody looking directly at you from that front page, using the word you also acts as a draw. And it signifies the importance of this story because we're making it more personal. Now the only locations that are identified in the background are Romania and Bulgaria. This represents a massive social stereotype of the time, which was the belief that migrants in these countries are detrimental to the UK, which fits in with the idea that the Sun have of very traditional Britain for British people sort of thing. Now the newspaper is perpetuating the stereotype by including this representation, so it's keeping that stereotype going. We've got a very bold headline, so it's capitalized, it's in serif font, so this is, in fact it's in a sans serif font. This is a convention of newspapers, particularly tabloids, because they're more informal, which is why we would expect it to be sans serif rather than serif, and it anchors that red banner. There's also a subversion of colour here because the majority of the headline is white on black rather than black on white writing. The front page is only dedicated to this one made story, so that's a very common convention of tabloids and the Sun in particular. It creates impact because it's an ultimatum, okay, so it's giving, sort of a threat, and the way that it does that is by using an imperative, draw, tell, okay, so it's like a command, and it's commanding us to speak to the government and suggest that the political allegiance of the paper is up for grabs. They're being very critical of the Conservative government here, who they normally support, and so they're not afraid to sort of speak out against that. Now the historical context of this particular paper suggests that they are quite fickle when it comes to who they support, so we would expect to find that on the paper as well. We have a close-up of David Cameron, who was the Prime Minister at the time. It represents him as being oppositional to the demographic's beliefs. Now, as we've said on the shot types video, when you use a candid image, you're taking it out of context. So we don't know where this original image of David Cameron was taken, but by putting it here, the way that he looks suggests that he's not concerned, he's not listening, he's very sort of blasé about the whole thing, and that would be designed to get the demographic feeling more angry. Now the white banner that we've got here not only emphasises the focus of the narrative, which is immigration, but when you combine it with that red line, it creates the English flag, so this has connotations of patriotism and nationalism attached to it as well. And the red line itself is representative of many things. It could be the red tape of bureaucracy, it could be this idea that Governments have to abide by certain rules in order to get things done, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a quick fix. It could also signify this divide from Europe, because we've got the UK on one side and Europe on the other. And this would link to social historical context, because the UK actually voted to leave Europe, and that was based mainly on people's views on immigration. Alright, so let's have a look then. We've got representation up first. So Romania and Bulgaria are the only European countries that are identified on the front page. So that implies that they are the reason behind this immigration crisis, and it puts the blame onto them unfairly. The Prime Minister is also represented as being foolish and clumsy because of the candid image that we've got of him in the corner of the page. In terms of our language, we've got very confrontational language, very threatening language, through the use of this imperative. It's also devoted to a single story. Now that's a convention of both the Sun as a paper and also of the genre as a tabloid. Now the colours of the house style reflect the English flag, so it gives a very nationalist ideology as well. It targets a working class demographic, so we can see that through the language on the front cover and also through the advert that we've got as well, which is acting as a sort of synergy between the paper and Audi. So audience then, primary 18 to 35-year-old males, C2 to E, who are strugglers or resigned, and our secondary demographic is going to be a little bit older, perhaps slightly higher, who may also be succeeders within their field or aspirers. Hopefully that was helpful to you guys. Here are our key terms for today. If you've got any questions about them, then pop a comment in the comments section below, or get in touch with me through Twitter at media_revision. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit the button next to it and you get instant notifications every time I upload a new video. I'll see you guys later for the next video.